beautiful day, perfect for walking these trails near our home here in northern Portugal.
We love getting outside, taking the sunlight, moving our limbs, breathing the air, getting some oxygen into our brains. It gets us out of a recording studio and our writing room. Sometimes when you're working on a project, day and night seem to blend together, and getting out into nature is just the thing we need. And Portugal has some amazing nature.
Check out this view. This is one of our favorite spots near our home. The incredible trees and rock formations here are not on any map of places to visit, but hidden places like this exist all around Portugal.
There are so many amazing places of nature in Portugal, and each one of them has something unique to offer. In this video, we're going to highlight 10 of those amazing places in Portugal. And if you're like us and you like to get away from the crowds, we're going to highlight some hidden spots that are a little bit off the beaten track, but are definitely worth a visit. But first, a look at what Portugal has to offer when you step outdoors.
Portugal perches on the far western edge of Europe between Spain and the Atlantic Ocean. It's a small country land-wise at about 32,000 square miles or 92,000 square kilometers. To put it into perspective, it's dwarfed in size by states like California, and it's about the size of Maine.
For such a small country, Portugal's natural beauty is incredibly diverse. This means that within a few hours' drive or flight, you could be standing at the edge of a cliff-backed beach, climbing along a snowy mountaintop, or a steep volcanic mountain ridge, gazing down into a dramatic river valley, checking out seabirds and wildlife in wetlands, or walking through an olive grove or cork forest in gently rolling plains.
Many rivers flow through Portugal, with the five largest, the Minho, the Douro, the Mondego, Tagus, and the Guadiana running from east in Spain all the way to the Atlantic. Along these rivers you might find relaxing river beaches, quaint towns, and lush vineyards.
And since Portugal runs vertically along the Atlantic, the entire western and southern borders are coastline. Portugal is also one of the sunniest places in Europe, with more than 300 days of sunshine each year. All this adds up to a lot of opportunities to enjoy the outdoors. The nature in Portugal is so unique, incredible, and diverse that it would be impossible to mention every spot in one video. So we're just going to talk about a few that speak to us. While there are several national parks in Portugal, only one is officially classified as a national park, and that's Peneda Gerês National Park. Peneda Gerês National Park, or as many simply call it, Gerês Park, is located in the northern region, about an hour from Porto. Peneda Gerês National Park is huge with lush forests, steep mountains, and streams. Lots of hiking, swimming, canoeing, and camping opportunities. There are villages in various parts of the park where you can stay or get a meal. A variety of animals roam the landscape, including deer, Iberian wolves, wild ponies, and cattle.
One of the most beautiful hidden spots in Gerês Park is the Pinseis waterfall. This waterfall is about 100 feet tall. It's a double drop waterfall and it has a deep pool of clear water at the bottom, which is perfect for diving or swimming. You have to walk a little bit to get to the waterfall, but it's absolutely worth it. While many of the other waterfalls at the park may get pretty busy, especially in the summer, this one is much less traveled.
The Douro Valley, just east of Porto, produces some of the finest wines in Portugal, and we think in Europe. The steep, terraced hillsides, covered with vineyards, offer dramatic views of the Douro River, which winds below. You can take a train ride up to the region and enjoy a picnic outdoors, or a stroll through the vineyards. There are so many vineyards that it's not hard to visit a smaller family-owned quinta and get a personalized tour.
One of the best hidden gems in the Douro Valley is the village of Pinhão. It's very small, but it has restaurants, cafes, bakeries, mini markets, and lodging. Basically everything you need.
Besides being near the vineyards, Pinhão has some great hiking trails. You can also take a scenic boat ride along the river. The Douro Valley is an awesome place to get away for a day or 3.
If you're longing to see some snow, Serra da Estrela is the place for you. It's a majestic landscape with dense forests and tucked away lakes. There are more than 300 miles of hiking trails to wander, and they're all of varying difficulties. You can also cycle or horseback ride on many of them, and kayak rentals are available on many of the lakes.
During the winter at Serra da Estrela, you can go sledding, build a snowman, or head for the slopes. Torre, the highest mountain in mainland Portugal, tops out at 1,993 meters, or more than 6,500 feet. It has the most popular ski resort in the region.
You can also take an amazing road trip down into the glacial Seaside Valley, passing rivers where shepherds' huts dot the shoreline. The herds of sheep are responsible for the region's famous creamy, buttery cheese, queijo de serra. You might also see deer, otters, lizards, and birds, including golden owls.
There are so many beautiful places in Serra da Estrela, it's hard to choose just one. And most of the time, these areas are not crowded at all. One interesting place to visit is Covão dos Coxos. This place has sort of a sci-fi feel to it. It's a man-made lake with a bell-shaped spillway, like the mouth of a sandworm or a portal to another dimension. It's a bit challenging to hike to this destination, but if you can hang in there, it's worth it. Even better when you pack a picnic.
And speaking of otherworldly, the Azores Islands have some of the most incredible land and waterscapes on Earth. These 9 volcanic islands are just under 1,000 miles across the ocean from the mainland. They were uninhabited before Portuguese sailors discovered them in 1428, and soon after, the Portuguese began settling there. Over time, they cleared the land and brought farm animals to graze there. And today, the Azores are famous for their meat, cheese, and butter.
To this day, the Azores are still sparsely populated, with the island of São Miguel being the largest and most populated. On this island, you'll find 7 cidades. This is a set of different colored twin lakes that formed inside of volcanic craters, and it looks like it's straight out of a fairy tale. Legend has it that these lakes, one blue and one green, formed from the tears of a shepherd and a princess who shared forbidden love.
course, there are hiking trails to enjoy in this place, including one that winds down the crater to the village below.
While you're on São Miguel, check out the islet of Vila Franco de Campo, just off the coast. That's a perfectly round crater of an ancient volcano. Amazing.
5 of the 9 islands of the Azores are the tops of still active volcanoes. If you're adventurous, you can definitely check some of these islands out, where the ground steams with thermal pools. And on the non-active islands, such as Terceira, you can actually walk down inside a lava tube at Algarve. A winding staircase takes you to the bottom, where there is a subterranean lake.
Or on the island of Pico, you can go whale watching. For some reason, this island attracts more whale pods than almost anywhere in the world. For us, the Silver Coast is beautiful. It offers miles of beaches and beach towns. You may have heard us mention in earlier videos a couple of our favorite seaside towns, Foz de Aurélio and São Martinho do Porto.
Surfing is really big in villages like Nazaré, where the highest wave ever surfed was recorded in 2020. Peniche and Baleal are also popular surf towns, and they have that relaxed, beachy vibe. But it can get crowded and full of tourists in these places, especially during the summer, and believe it or not, midwinter when the big waves come.
If you want to get away from the crowds, you can head north from Nazaré about 12 minutes to the hidden beach, or praia, at Alentejo. We actually looked seriously at a house to buy right above this beach, overlooking the ocean. It was incredible and awe-inspiring because the waves in this area can be very dramatic at times, crashing against the shore.
This beach is very quiet most of the year, so you can enjoy walking along the beach and hearing only the sounds of waves and the seagulls. It's one of many tucked away beaches on the coast of Portugal, one of the great things about living here. You can head down to Nazaré to find an assortment of restaurants or lodging, but again, this is only a few minutes away.
If you really want to slow down, relax, and enjoy the wild beauty and solitude of nature, then the Alentejo is the perfect place. This is the region where ancient cork forests meet megalithic rocks. Wildflowers bloom in rolling meadows, pines scent the air, and countless olive groves and vineyards dot the landscape. Many of the coastal beaches are truly remote. And the Alentejo's marshland is incredibly peaceful and provides homes for all kinds of unique plants and animals.
The starscapes of Alentejo are particularly incredible, especially the dark sky Algarve. Algarve is the first site in the world to be certified by the Starlight Foundation as a starlight tourism destination.
No lights are allowed in the entire area, so the sky glitters with the silvery light of constellations, planets, and even the Milky Way, which can be seen with the naked eye or through professional telescopes. Very few places on Earth offer this kind of experience.
In Alentejo, you can find ancient villages wrapped in fortified walls. One of the most beautiful of these is Madeira, a fairy tale village set inside a castle at the highest point on the border with Spain. It was settled by the Romans and later taken by the Moors, and then later by the Portuguese, and it served as a guardian of the border. With its tiled roofs, whitewashed houses, and dramatic views of two different countries, it has been called one of the most beautiful towns in Portugal. This town is off the beaten path, but it is definitely worth a visit.
Located about 900 kilometers off the coast of mainland Portugal, Madeira is almost otherworldly in its beauty. Like the Azores, Madeira formed from volcanic eruptions, and it rises up into ridges and peaks that seem almost impossible. Today, the high mountains and deep valleys are covered with green forests, colorful tropical foliage, cascading waterfalls, and unique animals and birds. Some of these cannot be found anywhere else on the planet.
In Madeira, you might find snow in the mountains, while you might be able to swim down by the coast all in the same day. Some of the hiking trails in Madeira are absolutely epic and not for the faint of heart. Others are calmer and extremely peaceful. You can walk along the lavadas, or waterways that carry rainwater down the mountains.
If you want to be around people, you can enjoy lots of food, entertainment, and culture in Funchal, the largest city on the island. But beyond that, there are many places that are remote and off the beaten path. In the north, near São Vicente, there are caves to explore inside lava tubes. Or you can soak in lava pools in Porto Muniz, or go whale watching off the southern coast.
In the far south of the Portugal mainland lies Algarve. This region is home to some of the most iconic beaches, seaside cliffs, and towers in the world.
One of the most emblematic sites is Benagil Cave. It's an enormous natural seaside cave with a hole in the ceiling. Golden sunlight streams through the hole, illuminating the sandstone and hidden beach below. The only way to access the interior of Benagil Cave is to visit via the water. Of course, famous sites like Benagil can be popular during the summer, so visiting off-season is better if you want to avoid the crowds.
In the past, people thought Cabo de São Vicente was the end of the world, and for them it was. There's something thrilling about standing at Europe's most southwestern edge, a headland of barren cliffs to which Portuguese sailors said goodbye to their loved ones before they sailed past and ventured into the unknown during Portugal's golden years of exploration. This windswept point is woven with history. If you close your eyes for a moment, you can imagine the explorer Vasco da Gama sailing past out into the Wild West.
Right near Cabo de São Vicente is Sagres, the southern tip of Portugal. It's definitely a place that's less traveled, but worth visiting. If you want to spend time at a quiet beach in the popular touristic Algarve, the beaches in the Sagres area might be just what you're looking for. There are so many diverse, beautiful natural places in Portugal, but these are just a few that resonate with us. When we get outdoors and look up at the stars, or out at the vast ocean, when we see enormous boulders, mountains, and cliffs, and tall ancient trees, it's like a massive exhale happens in our soul. All of this has been here for eons, and it continues on.
Whatever we face in our own lives, we feel a sense that it will all work out. We may even catch a new whiff of inspiration that we can take hold of and ride to wherever it takes us. That's the power of nature.
We're so thankful to have these incredible landscapes and seascapes to inspire us and fill us with life here in Portugal.